Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Niveen Amin. I'm going today to speak about risk registration and risk log. So please follow up my video till the end and please subscribe my channel and don't forget to write you have subscribed the video to follow up with your comments. A risk log is sometimes we have to call it risk registration. It's a framework and tool which projects and companies use to identify, evaluate and mitigate risks. A risk log almost always takes the form of a register. It's like an Excel sheet with different columns and different rows, and where each row represents a risk and each column represents an element or characteristic of the risk. Okay. Risk logs are usually created at the start of the project or phase of works when a project manager and team are assessing oncoming risks. The risk log is then updated, maintained and referenced throughout the life of the project. The risk management is a critical activity for all the project based in the companies in many industries like construction, oil and gas, mining and manufacturing. In these high risk industries, mitigating risk is one of the most important aspects of good and safe project delivery. A risk log can feature any kind of risks, and how you create and arrange your risk logs all depend on the nature of your business as well as the resources of your disposal. Risk logs can and should identify safety, commercial, financial, environmental and production related risks. You may have more categories beyond these which are applicable to your business. Because risk is cycle and ongoing, risk logs aren't stationary documents. They are living and breathing documents which need to be updated and collaborated on so the entire companies and teams understand how risk is being approached and managed. A risk log is of course not only a tool for risk management, especially for field and site-based companies. These companies must take in consideration they don't over rely on documents like risk logs, and instead use them as tools which empower project managers, safety managers and other people to make better, more informed decisions about how to actually get better results during work. In this video, I will show you a risk log example, where we could take it and roadmap to our risk log registration and how to update it. For example, you are probably pretty familiar with risk register templates and frameworks, and it can be uploaded from Google. It's a free templates for risk logs and registrations, and I will try to put a link in the comments about a risk log free template. And as you will see from the risk log example below, they share many similarities and can often be used interchangeably. The most important column and feature of any risk are of which you can see in the example below. Description of the risk. Yes, it is the most important column. Risk logs are cooperative documents where there may be a project manager who owns the risk log. Other people will want or need to access and reference the log. These people should be able to see and understand the risk quickly, and description really helps as they might have the context that the risk creator identifier had. Therefore, a risk register or risk log should be shared between teams or departments or stakeholders responsible for updating these risk logs. Impact on the project. Looking at risks in a vacuum isn't incredibly helpful or practical. All companies and projects care about how risks are applicable to them, and this comes back to the impact that the risk can have on the project, whether that be through possibly delays, injuries or compliance to the company laws or categories. Related functions. As we already discussed, grouping and categorizing functional risk can be really important for workers and companies, especially as projects become larger. If you organize and group your risks properly, it will be easier to delegate specific risks and ensure every risk is handled by the appropriate person or the risk owner. as we have to say about him. Assessment of likelihood and serious and resulting risk rate. One of the most important aspects of risk log is that it provides a company with a macro level view of all of the different risks and enables prioritization. The two axes which will prioritize are made as the likelihood of a risk evaluating and seriousness of an event stemming from that risk. The combined scores of these two dimensions, the score is a standardized score based on the standard risk matrix. Gives us a risk grade which can be then used to decide which risk needs to be dealt with. Change in grade and time since last review. Understanding how risk is evolving over time is really important to adhere while the company is managing risk. Outside of unexpected forces, most recurring risks should become less risky. Companies and workers should learn how to better manage risk over time. Understanding how a risk grade has changed over time and the time last review enables us to see whether or not our risk profile is improving or providing us over time. Mitigation action. Cost of these actions. Once risks are prioritized, we need to make and take some actions to prevent this risk from evacuating and happening again. We want to be able to list different types of mitigating actions which will be implemented, as well as the cost of those actions. Person responsible. One of the key parts of the brainstorming or risk-related activities is to make sure that the changes are made. It is easy to go through the great exercise of actually identifying and defining all of the risks, but if those risks don't get action, then the exercise quickly loses its value. Documenting who is responsible for each risk is the best way to ensure they got done, because then a specific person can be held responsible. Ensuring every one of these critical elements is captured in your standardized risk log template, which will be provided in the comments. It's the best way to make sure all of your risks always have the information required to make good decisions. As you imagine, risk log like this can become expensive very quickly. Assessing risk on any sized projects, even the small ones. This is why or where making a project manager or specific functional manager responsible for a specific area of risk or phase of work is often the best approach to manage these risks as more dilated level. And many risks can be classified as being unlikely to occur and non-serious, and those risks can be appropriately stored or classified as dormant, while new risks will be constantly added to the risk log. Old and redundant risks which have been eliminated or effectively managed can be archived. You probably don't want to delete the record entirely, as you have important information about the risk in the register, such as its current risk score and who are responsible of managing it. Streamlining your risk log for project management. Risk is never fully managed, no matter how good or comprehensive your risk log is, especially as projects and their internal and external factors, whether technology, funding, extra, evolve. One of the most difficult aspects of risk logs for project management, it is difficult to connect them between the office and on-site, which is really happening. The best laid brainstorming sessions and plans in the office can get lost or misdirected before they get to site and get implemented. In the same way that new risks identified on site or in the field often go unrecorded in the office or the risk log. To prevent this issue and to connect to the office and the site across many different processes in the real time, the best solution is often management software. These softwares enables workers to identify and document new and developing risks on the site using a mobile or a tablet. And then these risks are then auto-populated and synchronized into the risk log or risk register. Instead of the project manager or risk log manager getting standardized and correctly formatting information from site, they can ensure that everyone on site has access to the same risk or hazard report form They can open this at any time and report new hazard or risk, which is easier and is faster for everyone, and improve the speed and accuracy of the data being received and inputted into the risk log. No matter how you choose to approach your risk during project management, it is very critical that you have a reliable method of documenting, organizing, and then tracking all of your risks in the risk log. Therefore, risk logs are one of the most powerful risk management tools at your disposal. And therefore, it is very apparent that no one from the project managers or the functional managers can read or rule the registration log or risk registration. I hope by this you have known a lot of information about risk log and risk register. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell button to receive more videos, and don't forget to write that you have subscribed the video to follow up with your comments.